Fairfield Federal, in cooperation with Interphase Video, presents the Lancaster Festival, live from downtown. Also brought to you by the Frank E. Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield DD, Buckeye Toyota, Fairhope Hospice, Walker Shoe Center, Personal Touch Party Rentals, Fairfield Parks, Buckeye Lake Marina, and Dagger Law.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Lancaster Festival Live. Fantastic with you. We are downtown, and as we begin our show today live, like we say, we're downtown. Normally I say taping, but as we do the show live downtown, we're right by the fountain on the square, and it is just beautiful out, a sunny, beautiful day. There's a activity behind us, of course, going on at the bandstand starting right now as we come on at noon. So we'll have a little bit on that later in the show. We can talk about that. But a pleasure to be with you today. And you can, as we look, you can see the traffic by Main Street, very busy. Again, it's just a beautiful day, so you still have time to come on down and get to the nice events going across at the bandstand. All the food trucks are open. You can eat to your heart's desire or have a lemon shake up or whatever you want over there. Today's a beautiful day for that. So we're glad you're with us on a Monday. It's again a beautiful day, and we're pleased to start off with our first guest. And it's always a pleasure to have her as our very first guest of the week. Is Kristen Glazier, President, CEO of Fairhope Hospice. Kristen, welcome.
Hi, Paul. Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you.
Well, it's our pleasure. Believe me, nice to have you here. Have you been to any of the events yet? Did you get the Thursday night, Saturday night for the shortened period that it was?
Yes, we did. So Friday night at the Art Walk,
Okay.
Fairhope has our standing
I know you're over
booth.
at Fairfield Federal.
Yes, so
I saw that.
We were nice and cozy in there. We beat the rain a little, but we had so many guests that came through and just stopped to talk. So that was a really good night. The band was great.
We'll have some shots of that later. I think they've got some of that because it was very busy down here. Now, I know there were, showers on and off. You were inside most of the time probably, but showers on and off.
Yeah, but you know what? People were just troopers. They put their ponchos on. They had their umbrellas. They walked around, still enjoyed all the great food and the art. So it was a good night.
Are you able, when that's over, do you go out and around, or you just say, I'm done?
No. You got to stay for the evening. See a little bit more art and just really enjoy the company and the band.
Well, and you got good setup over there. There's nice artwork at Fairfield Federal. I know Mary and the group, they always have it set up nicely for you and give out bottled water. I don't know what was handed out over there.
Yeah, they had some nice cookies there. But Mary and her crew are so wonderful to us. We were talking about that a little bit, trying to remember how many years we had been coming to Fairfield Federal. So maybe 10. She thought maybe close to 12, 15. So.
My guest is Kristen Glazier. Kristen is President and CEO of Fairhope Hospice. And as far as Fairhope Hospice goes, I hesitate to say is anything going on because I'll guarantee you there always is something going on. And I guess you were telling me before we went on, it's almost been a year now for the new building.
It is. So we opened our AIM clinic, Advanced Illness Management Clinic, our palliative clinic on East Main Street. And it's been a year, and August is a year, so we are getting ready to celebrate that and just the great success that we're having serving a lot of patients in the community that maybe aren't ready for Fairhope for hospice, but have some needs, some medical needs.
That's what I was going to ask. So that's it. It's kind of perhaps pre-hospice needs that go in there?
Yes, so those are for patients that have a chronic illness. Then that chronic illness we know will not be cured, but they need a lot of management. They don't have a terminal diagnosis. We've got a great team of nurse practitioners. We have a great physician, and we partner very well with the hospital and with a lot of the physicians at the hospital just to manage those symptoms and to help keep people out of the hospital.
Now, is this groundbreaking? I know it is for you at Fairhope, but is this groundbreaking technology using this kind of pre-hospice thing, or is that kind of the way hospice is heading now?
Palliative has been around for a long time. We've had palliative care for 20 plus years.
Sure.
And there are a lot of palliative agencies that run with hospice, but very few clinics.
Yeah.
So this is really kind of cutting edge here in this area.
So people just call up and want some information, and you can get it to them. They can visit. They can call you. Look on your website. I know you got everything on there.
Yes, we have all the information they need. Their physician can give us a call for a referral. They can stop in or visit our Facebook page, our website, or just give us a call at 740-654-7077.
And another event that Don Walker, I've heard give a good plug for the last couple of weeks at Kiwanis, has been the Gordon Snyder golf outing coming up. That's coming up at the golf club. And, anytime we mention Gordon Snyder, it just brings a smile to your face. What a gentleman.
Oh, my goodness, me too. I smile when I think of him. He was such a mentor for all of us at Fairhope and really one of our founding fathers. So on September 15th at the Lancaster Golf Club at 1:30, we are going to have a golf outing. You know what kind of a golfer he was. So, and all the proceeds are going to benefit Fairhope, and John Snyder, his family, and the Lancaster Golf Club are really helping to spearhead that.
Funny how John could be helpful on this at this moment, isn't it?
That's
It
right.
works out well. And anybody, as you were talking about Gordon, anybody that remotely knows him, which is probably almost everyone in the community as long as he was around, establishing his medical practice and doing the great things he's did all over the years, everybody probably is smiling a little bit too, because he was just somebody that was just fun to know, and just a real gentleman, a great guy.
I like to think that they're smiling, and he's keeping an eye on all of us.
Well, I can believe that. He'd like to come down and correct a few things,
I'm
but
sure he would.
But you know Gordon, that's Gordon.
I golfed with him once, so I do know. He showed me a few things.
Was he a good golfer?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, he knows somebody at the club, so it probably worked out. But he was just anything he did, probably he was talented at. This time of the year, with everybody going to the festival and all the events going on, does that create any issues for your staff or everybody wanting a little more time off up there?
You know, it really doesn't. We have such a great staff, and we're able to, if someone would like some time off to enjoy time with their family and some of the events, we can grant that because we have a lot of staff and we have a lot of really committed staff.
And I was thinking about the festival. When we think about the Lancaster Festival now, I think Deb will tell you that the heart of the Lancaster Festival, although we love the orchestra, we love the maestro, we love everybody that works, but she'll tell you the heart of the Lancaster Festival is the volunteers. In fact, she gets calls all the time throughout the year saying, how is a town like Lancaster able to pull this off for 40 years? I mean, how do you do that? And the first words out of her mouth are volunteers. And I know volunteers at Fairhope Hospice, that's really the key for you.
It really is. So I understand how Deb feels about that, because with us at Fairhope, we have probably close to 115, 120 volunteers, and they really are just that great hub and that spoke for us to help do all the things that we need to do at Fairhope. So we are really eternally grateful to our Fairhope volunteers.
So now the question becomes, as we think about the festival, favorite fair food?
Oh my goodness.
Will you go over there here now when you leave and try something? Will you probably have, well, maybe, you were at the Art Walk, so maybe you tried it then.
I will. We tried a couple of things. Our Rotary group is over there right now, so when we finish talking, I'm going to head over with them and find something really good to eat.
And there are plenty of good choices over there. And you've been here, you're almost a Lancaster native your entire life, certainly in the area your entire life. Can you really think of a reason that this has been so successful, the Lancaster Festival down here? I mean, Deb has asked that a long time, how are you able to do it? And volunteers are a big part of it. But for a town Lancaster size to do this is, I think, remarkable. It was made after the Spoleto Festival down there in Charleston, so a bigger town, bigger base for all that. But here in Lancaster, man, it's just all wheels go.
It is. Paul, I just think it's the community. Once you start something great, like in this community, the way that we have and the way that Deb has, and for many years, it catches on. It grows every year, and it's just a fantastic time.
Well, it's always fun to have you on to start out the week on this. Go over with your Rotary buddies. It's hard for me to say that.
I know.
But go over there with your Rotary buddies, get some good eats. If there's any left after those chow hounds go over, I've seen them walking by here. They have that look on their face.
I know.
So good luck with Fairhope Hospice. I mean, you just do a great job out there. And again, I from everything personal and everything I've known for the decade or so that I've been involved with it. You guys are one of the really great organizations in town. So just tell you and all your staff and volunteers, keep up the good work. Even Rick Schneider.
I will tell Rick. Thanks, Paul. That means a lot. Thank you
Right.
for having me on today.
President and CEO of Fairhope Hospice, Kristen Glazier. It's always a pleasure to have her on and start out the week with that. Now, as it happens every year, the festival began its opening night concert at the Basilica of St. Mary at the Assumption. This year's concert was titled Story, Songs, and Symphony. Here's a little taste from Thursday night. Wow, that is amazing footage right there, and I've got the guy beside me that could talk about that footage, and we'll chat about that and all the other things that went on Thursday night up at St. Mary. It was a truly amazing moment up here. And let me take just a moment of personal privilege to say, who has it better than me? A kid that grew up here on the west side, about 5 miles from here. Who'd ever thought that, well into my 70s, I'd be sitting here interviewing the music director of the Lancaster Festival. I mean, I'm a pretty lucky guy. And as I say, who has it better than me? And I would say nobody. I'm a very lucky guy to be here today. Let me introduce John Devlin with us. John, welcome to Lancaster.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And it was a long road to get here because I know they had, I believe, last I talked to Deb when the hunt was still going on, there were over 100 participants in that search. It was all over the nation looking at that, and almost in our backyard. We found you down there in Wheeling, West Virginia, so congratulations, and judging by how things went Thursday night, I would have to say you're pleased that you're here.
I feel blessed to be here. Thursday night was the end of a long journey, as you mentioned. That search took almost 2 years, but it was well worth it because of the way the orchestra sounded and the way the community responded, and I think that the Lancaster Festival 2025 is off to a great start.
Well, as I say, I was fortunate enough to be up there for that, and I almost had a front row seat. I was in the third row, just happened to be that, right on the end, and so I was able to watch Ben Gully, your tenor, and while I mention him before we go on, that was a wow moment. I don't know if you'd ever heard of him or knew him before he came here, but he put on a great show, and the crowd just loved him.
It's a big deal who is chosen to be the collaborating soloist on an opening night, but especially when it's my first opening night, and I want to introduce the community to the type of people as soloists that I believe will resonate with them. And Ben is a dear old friend. We've collaborated before, and based on the way that he was received in Wheeling and that gregarious openness of humanity that he embodies on stage and off, I thought he would be a perfect fit. And you mentioned the title of the concert included Stories. I love that he told stories about the pieces, and that for the ones that were in Italian, he gave us some context so that we would know what was happening. And then, as you mentioned, Nessun Dorma being a particular favorite of yours, that brought down the house at the end of the first half, didn't it?
Well, he was, again, as you indicated, the perfect guy to help you open up the Lancaster Festival, and your first Lancaster Festival. It was very impressive. Again, the crowd, you could just tell them out there, and the things I've heard from that, everybody just raving about the whole evening. Just wonderful. So now your background a little bit. You didn't originate there, but you came and still are down at Wheeling at the Symphony Orchestra down there for what, like 7 years?
That's correct. So I just began my 7th year as the music director of that fantastic orchestra, which for people who might not be familiar with where Wheeling is, it's just outside of Pittsburgh, on the way between Pittsburgh and Lancaster. And I found a great musical home there, as well as a beautiful community of people that my wife Camille and I were thrilled to join. I'm originally from New York, and that's where I developed a love of classical music and of Broadway. And we heard Ben sing a couple of great Broadway tunes as well. And then my journey has taken me to Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Honolulu, Hawaii, and then to Wheeling. And so I'm so happy to be able to say that Lancaster is now another one of the communities that I'm getting to know. The people here have been very warm and welcoming, and it's amazing to see the board of directors, the staff, and the volunteer crew of people that help make the Lancaster Festival come to life every summer.
I mentioned that to the guest just prior to having you on here was Kristen Glazier from Fairhope Hospice, and I mentioned that to her, that Deb has, every time I interview Deb Connell, one thing that always comes up is she always raves about the volunteers, and she says she receives numerous calls in the off-season, not while the festival is going on, but from other cities saying, how can Lancaster pull this off? How can you do what you do here for almost 2 weeks, a week and a half of just every night, every day, things going on, and how we could never do that. And these are bigger cities, and she says it's the volunteers.
And that's the spirit of the thing, right? Music is meant to unite us in the stories that it tells. It might be meant to expand our understanding of the world by bringing in artists and acts that we normally don't get to see in our home communities, like Ben Gully. And I also think that the fact that the orchestra has been at the core of the festival's mission for over 4 decades says a lot about the diversity of art that gets presented at the festival, from hyper-local, people that live right here in Lancaster, to a national orchestra with people coming from all over the country who, as I've had my conversation with them, feel like Lancaster is an adopted home of theirs, some of whom have been here since the very first festival.
Since you are still the conductor for the Wheeling Symphony Orchestra going into year 7 down there, is there any dramatic difference or anything you feel different when you go to them? They're there every day or however long your season is down there, and they're always the same people pretty much every year. And as you say, indicate the same people here, but these people come from all over the country just to come back here for this. Is there a difference in just how the symphonies are?
What a thoughtful question. The thing that I see as common is the high level of talent and the care for the community where the orchestra resides. The thing that's a little bit different is that in Wheeling, it's part of their everyday work. Here, it's an incredibly intensive amount of orchestral rehearsal and performance where we do 4 completely different programs over 10 days. So the work is very rigorous. And actually, after you and I finish talking, I'm going to be heading up to Cheers Chalet to see one of the chamber music concerts that they're producing, which they're rehearsing without me as a conductor. And so not only are they getting ready for the orchestral performances, but they're going into embedded venues within the community and presenting things on their own. And I love that balance of conducted and unconducted presence of the orchestra throughout the entire festival.
One of the comments, and again, let me say thank you for being so audience-friendly Thursday night. As a member of that audience and as a member of this community lifelong, we love that. Whether it's the talent on stage on Saturday nights or the orchestra or Gary or you or anybody, we love that interaction between you and us. We enjoy hearing your stories. As you said, you tell the stories. But I'd keep that up. And one of the things that caught my ear early on in your talk Thursday night was one of the first things you did was make a call to Gary Sheldon.
That's right. I'll start there. Gary, for 40 years, poured his soul into the music of the Lancaster Festival, into this community. And, you know, in Wheeling, I make a big deal of the fact that I'm only the 9th music director in that organization's history, over 90 years.
We can top that here.
But boy, when you walk in and you're only the 2nd music director of an orchestra after 40 years, you feel the gravitas of his legacy, and he could not have been more kind and welcoming and gentle to me. I'm going to view him as a mentor in my entire time here, because nobody will ever know Lancaster, its music scene, and that orchestra better than he. The first point you made about speaking with the audience is one that I care deeply about, because I am aware that classical music is not an art form that the average person has a deep familiarity with. They may understand what an orchestra is, they may like the sounds that it makes, but the details that we as classical musicians understand and appreciate as part of an orchestral concert may be lost on the average audience member, and that's okay, because part of my job as a music director is to educate. It's to connect. It's to make accessible. So, for example, when we did the Romeo and Juliet piece by Tchaikovsky to open the concert, I took a few moments, as you mentioned, and outlined, when you hear this type of music, that's this part of the story, and then this part of the story. And I chose a piece of music that had a story that everyone would be familiar with before they got there, because Romeo and Juliet, it doesn't get more global than that. But then the musical connections that we were able to make, I feel that connection. And then Ben did the same thing by speaking in front of most of the numbers. And as you mentioned, that is part of my trademark style. I will be doing that at each and every concert.
And I will say it really helped on Romeo and Juliet. You could feel the excitement, the sadness, the joy as we went through it, because you kind of clued us in for that. So John Devlin is our guest here. He is the music director, the new one, for the how long you been on board now? A couple months?
I got hired in January.
So it's been longer than that, but first week here, getting it underway. Congratulations. The community is so excited to have you here. We are looking forward to many years of just great, I won't say just classical music, but great music from the Lancaster Festival Orchestra. We're just so happy you're here, and best of luck in your journey at this time in Lancaster.
Thank you so much for your warm welcome.
John Devlin with us. That's pretty exciting right there. We want to thank... Break? Okay. I got lost there on my clip sheet. I obviously didn't do everything I should have done before. We're going to be back in just a moment.
If you've been thinking about getting a home loan, now is the time. Hi, this is Carrie James from Fairfield Federal. Our experienced lenders are here to help you make your vision a reality. For more than 125 years, we've been helping our community achieve home ownership. Fairfield Federal has convenient online application for your home loan, home equity loan, and home equity line of credit needs. Visit fairfieldfederal.com to get started. Fairfield Federal for checking, savings, and home loans. Data charges may apply, subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 402612.
It is so important for families to feel comfortable and safe when they call, because oftentimes that first phone call, even picking up the phone physically and just dialing that number, is very hard. You're asking for something that is a very difficult and private decision, and so we want everyone to feel comfortable and safe that you pick up that phone, you make that phone call, and let us just guide you and lead you where you want. And then you can make an informed decision about what's best for you and your family.
Hi, this is Anna Tobin from the Senior Hub, your local Meals on Wheels provider. We provide in-home services to reduce isolation and hunger while empowering caregivers in their role of caring for a family member or friend. This July, we are once again honored to be chosen by the Buckeye Automotive Family Buckeye Cares program. Buckeye will make a generous donation for every car sold this month. From all of us at the Senior Hub and the ones we provide for, we say thank you.
The Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities is proud to support the Lancaster Festival as it celebrates the creativity, talent, and spirit of our community. This month, there are countless opportunities to join in the fun and connect with your neighbors and friends at events across Fairfield County. Be sure to visit Fairfield DD Social Enterprises during the festival, Art and Clay on Main, and Square 7 Coffee House in downtown Lancaster, where you can unleash your own creativity and enjoy a refreshing beverage. We look forward to seeing you at the festival and to celebrating our community together.
Welcome back to Lancaster Festival Live. Paul Jasson with you. We are downtown underneath the beautiful tent here, and a sunny, fabulous day in downtown Lancaster. We begin our week on a Monday. Kristen Glazier, our first guest. We have the music director of the Lancaster Festival, John Devlin, with us. And now we continue the upgrade with the mayor of Lancaster, Don McDaniel. Don, welcome.
Good afternoon, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. This is your first time for the festival as mayor?
The second year now.
This is the second year. So, okay, second year. So some of the stuff you're kind of familiar with then, right?
Yeah, so I've been, as you know, former police chief, so I've been working with the festival since it started, really. So pretty familiar with the operations and the city's involvement.
I think many years ago, I think I had you on here as representing the police force,
yes,
as somebody that could talk about the kind of things, mostly security things, but mostly the things that go on with the Lancaster Festival. And I would say, just judging by the amount of people I see that I know are involved in secure work, I'd have to say the Lancaster Festival is a pretty secure facility.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning, a lot of effort goes into security and preparation, being ready for what might happen. In our case this weekend, what did happen.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
You've been here a while.
I've been with the city in one capacity or another since 1987. It's the most rain, the most impact we've had from flooding anywhere that anyone can really remember. I think maybe the late 40s had a significant flood, but the flooding we saw this weekend was significant.
But I will say that now, of course, today you're out here today. It couldn't be any nicer than this. Of course, this is what it looked like Saturday night about 6 o'clock too. We were fortunate there, but I will say that with all that went on, and we all saw some things that going on around the community, the recovery has been, I would say, fairly rapid and well handled.
Yes, our police, fire, street department, water, pollution control, they've been out all weekend working on various things, and fortunately things have receded pretty quickly. Cleanup's already started. Most places that were affected or impacted have totally receded, but there are some places along the various tributaries that are still impacted a little bit.
Well, you've been involved, as you said, with this festival in one capacity for another for several decades now, both from a police and now an administrative point of view. And I spoke with John Devlin about this, and Kristen Glazier, who was on earlier too. Does it amaze you that a town like Lancaster can pull this off for 40 years?
You know, it is amazing because this really started kind of on a dream that a couple residents had, and the history of the festival is well documented. But to think that we have a 2-week period where this city is being visited by folks all over the Midwest, all over the country, really, and the amount of activity and the amount of coordination, the amount of effort, the amount of volunteer hours that really make the festival go and make Lancaster proud to host the festival, just really impressive.
Now, when for you, it was probably different when you were the police chief. When for you as the mayor, are you on when they have committees formed and they start talking about, well, coming up this year is the Lancaster Festival in late summer, and is there a big meeting of all the big heads and all the city chiefs and everybody get together? Do you conduct one just for the city?
The city, in conjunction with the festival leadership, and honestly, these meetings go on almost year-round. There is certainly a break in preparation to recover from 2 weeks of a lot of activity, but planning's ongoing almost constantly.
And one of the things that I just happened to kind of notice a little more this year, was around Friday during the day is how much activity there is here Friday, and probably Thursday too, but Friday during the day that leads up to the art walk. That just doesn't happen at 6 o'clock. It isn't magic that all the streets close, and isn't that great?
Yeah, so a lot of experience goes into that, a lot of trial and error, and I think we've got it pretty much down to a science. LDOT knows when to close the roadways and post the detours and get downtown ready, and DDL does a fantastic job coordinating the art walk, and then think about all the coordination with the various schools and artists and getting things set up and the buildings that are open and each building doing their own thing or each business doing their own thing with the art walk. And the art walk, as many people may or may not know, is the most attended event of the Lancaster Festival. Really? Yeah, I mean, we estimate 20 to 30,000 people typically come to the art walk.
And really, I guess that's what you might call a successful art walk if it's uneventful.
Yes, and they typically are. Typically, very little issues. People are down here enjoying themselves, pretty well behaved. And again, it's well planned out, well thought of, and well attended.
And I'm sure that from what I can see just in walking around on a Friday night here and going around, the police presence downtown is very important to let everybody know that there is somebody here to help you if you need it.
Yes, wherever people are gathering, the Lancaster Police Department is going to be there. Of course, the fire department's there too, but anytime you have a large gathering of people, we're going to make sure that we've got appropriate security in place.
So now, as if we have you leave your hat behind as mayor and you just talk about resident Don McDaniel, how much fun is it to be involved in the festival? I mean, you're the mayor, pretty cool. You get to go to a lot of places, but I mean, you do a lot of things over the years. You kiss a lot of babies, you shake a lot of hands. We understand that, but being kind of the mayor of the city of Lancaster for the festival has to be a feather in your cap.
Yeah, it's a great time of year for everyone in Lancaster, and a lot of activity. And as mayor, I'm enjoying the same thing you are. I'm going to the festival. I'm going out to downtown to eat downtown at each one of the food trucks, and then making my way to pretty much all the activities I possibly can.
Do you have any favorite events over the course of a week and a half? You know, it began last Thursday at St. Mary's, and, you know, we've got concerts every night somewhere in town. We've got cafe concerts every day out at Cheers. We've got the downtown that I'm sure you walk over to about every day if you can make it over there. Do you have any event that, as a rule, you tell your wife or say that's something I don't want to miss?
Well, really, the one I like most, of course, I attend to all three major concerts out at the festival, both Saturdays and then the Wednesday night concert. But it's the tribute bands I kind of really like. They're really a neat concert, and, you know, they always bring in a pretty good act that can bring us back to our youth, and we can remember some of the rock and roll music, in my case, that I really enjoyed. And I will tell you, really looking forward to Hairball. And hopefully the OUL site will be fully recovered by then.
Everybody is talking about that as one of the ones they're looking forward to, so absolutely. We can count you in that number, huh?
Oh, I'll be there.
Mayor Don McDaniel, the Lancaster mayor, talking about his presence here and the things that are going on. Thanks, Don. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we've had some rain here. You might have heard that. But this past Friday evening, it wasn't enough to put a damper on the art walk that occurred right here around where we are. So if you missed it, here's some of the sights and sounds of that wonderful event.
Travel on one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door where blues don't haunt you anymore. The brave are free and love for soul. Come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Yeah. Rocking the highway. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I love you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the heads. The road that leads to the Memphis nights, the Cabo Patch of Vancouver sights. Knock me down and back up again. You're in my blood.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Hi, I'm Carol Whittington, and I would like to invite you to stop by Personal Touch Party Rentals and Events, located at 1540 Hubbard Drive in Lancaster. We are a small family-owned business and have been servicing the Central Ohio and Hocking Hills area since 2003. Graduations with a personal touch, weddings with a personal touch, corporate events with a personal touch. Please call us today for all your party rental needs, 740-689-6991.
Look like you could be having the art walk right now. It's a beautiful day downtown Lancaster with the great sounds going on behind us. And speaking of that, let's go over to hear a little bit of that. We've got Central Ohio natives, Barefoot and Foster. Let's hear some of that.
Fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, golden in the hills, and it's waiting for me there. Waiting for me there. Waiting for me there. Waiting for me there.
Barefoot and Foster, downtown Lancaster on this Monday edition of Lancaster Festival Live. Boy, they sounded great, too. It's just fun hearing them in the background. And that clip of Barefoot and Foster was brought to you by the Fairfield County Parks District. You can find more information about them and their upcoming park events at fairfieldcountyparks.org. And also Buckeye Lake Marina. If you're interested in a new boat, a used boat, getting your boat out of storage, getting service done for a boat, Buckeye Lake Marina is the place to go. Just look them up. They handle every boating need that you have around Millersport, Ohio. Now let's take a look at the calendar, and it's brought to you by the good folks out at Walker Shoe Center. Walker's, of course, is a true sit-down, get-your-feet measured shoe store. They're located a couple miles from here, 737 East Main Street in Lancaster. So this afternoon, you heard the maestro mentioned that he was going out to the cafe concert. It's Mozart's musical mystery tour. That's going to be out at Cheers out at 3 p.m. Then at 5:30, there's a happy hour concert at the Ale House, 1860. Then tonight, let's look what's going on tonight. A beautiful Monday night here in Lancaster. A Central Ohio-based group, Harold Stewart and the Blues. Now Blues Hounds. We do have a little change. I'll mention that. They'll entertain the crowd with some high entertainment and upbeat, funky blues music. And now the concert has been moved, and please make note of that. The concert has been moved to the Eagles Event Center out on East Main Street, and that begins at 8 p.m. So the time is the same, but now it's out at the Eagles out on East Main Street. Then let's look ahead to tomorrow. Major Arts for Minors, they have an improv class at the Decorative Arts Center, and that starts at 10 a.m. Always fun to go up to the Deco. We love it up there. At 10 also is at the Children's Corner, Magical Mr. J will be on the downtown stage behind us. And for noontime, lunchtime enjoyment, and other than the Lancaster Percussion, this is an incredibly popular group. It's the Nostalgics tomorrow at noon down here. Their big band, Era Sound, at the Zane Square Bandstand. That will start at noon. Looking forward to that. So still lots going on and lots to think about in the next day or so here at Lancaster Festival Live. And sure want to thank our guest today, Kristen Glazier, President and CEO of Fair Hope Hospice. Especially great to have John Devlin on, who is the brand new musical director of the Lancaster Festival. And then our mayor, Don McDaniel, on to talk about everything that goes on, kind of the inside scoop, inside baseball here in Lancaster for the Lancaster Festival. So that's today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow at this time, 12 noon, Lancaster Festival Live. Have a great festival.
Fairfield Federal, in cooperation with Interphase Video, presents the Lancaster Festival, live from downtown. Also brought to you by the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield DD, Buckeye Toyota, Fairhope Hospice, Walker Shoe Center, Personal Touch Party Rentals, Fairfield Parks, Buckeye Lake Marina, and Dagger Law.